Hi friends, welcome back to another tutorial, and today we're going to learn how to crochet this Charity Daisy granny square tote bag. I really love how it turned out, and I already have a tutorial on how to crochet the Charity Daisy granny square, so we won't do that in this tutorial. I'll just show you how to assemble the squares to create our bag. So for this tutorial, you're going to need a 3.75mm hook or a number 5 US, a pair of scissors, a darning needle, and a tape measure, but the tape measure is optional. So you're going to go, I'll leave the link on how to crochet this retro granny square in the description box below. I already did a tutorial on this one, and so it's not necessary to repeat it again for this tutorial. So I'll just show you how to assemble and how to join the panels together to make a bag. So you need a total of 27 squares for this bag. And to join the squares, this is what you're going to do, or this is what you're going to use. So you're going to lay them in this manner, 3 squares per row, and then you're going to have 3 columns, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. So the 7 rows, 3 rows will count for the front panel, then 3 rows for the back, then 3 for the bottom squares. Then we'll have 3 squares on each side, and this is how you're going to join them. So you're going to start with the column join. So you're going to have square 1 and square 2, we join them, then join square 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, all the way to our 15 and 14 square. Then we'll come and join the 15, 16, 17, all the way to 21 square. Now after joining them column wise, we're going to join them row wise. So after joining this seam, we're going to come back and join these seams. I'm doing this illustration because the squares won't fit on the frame of this camera, so giving you a guideline before we join them will make the work easier. So to join the squares, you're going to start with our first and the second square. So make a slip knot with your main color and then insert your hook. Just use the same hook you are using for the squares. Then for this, the first square, you're going to locate the first corner, and in this corner, remember we have 2 chains. So locate the chain that is adjacent to the row that you're going to join, and insert a hook in that chain, make a slip stitch, then pick the second square, find the chain stitch that is adjacent to that row that you're joining, then insert a hook in that stitch, the chain stitch, and over, pull through the stitch and then pull through the loop on your hook. Then you're going to go in the second stitch, which is the first stitch of the row or the treble crochet. Insert a hook in that stitch, going through both loops, then yarn over, pull through the stitch, then pull through the loop on your hook. Then you want to go in the first treble of this other square, going through both loops, like a slip stitch. So that is what you're going to repeat. Find the second stitch, insert your hook through both loops, then work a slip stitch, go in the next stitch of this square 2, work a slip stitch. Now you're going to repeat this all the way until the end of the first and the second square. After working the last treble crochet stitches and you have the chain stitches remaining, you're going to find the first chain stitch after the last treble, then go in that right hand side, chain 1, and work a slip stitch, then come to this other side, chain 1, work a slip stitch, then pick the next set of squares. I'll change the black one so that you can easily see what I'm doing. Then find the next chain 1 space that is along this row, make a slip stitch, then find the next chain 1 stitch on this other side, find that chain 1 close to this side, and slip stitch. Now you can continue going through both stitches or both loops and work a slip stitch. Do the same for this side, going through both loops of that treble and work a slip stitch. And then continue until you reach the next chain 2 space. So after joining all the squares until the last 2 squares here, you're going to chain 1 and cut your yarn. So once that is done, you're going to add another column on the left, and to do that you're going to repeat the same pattern on how we join these 2 squares. So you're going to pick your squares and then place them on how you'd want to join them, and then you join this one to this one, this one to this one, all the way until you're through with the 3 columns. Now I'll meet you when now you're joining the row squares, and then we can now add the 2 sides. So I went ahead and finished the 3 columns, and the number of rows that I have is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3 for front, 1 for the middle or for the bottom part, and then 3 for the back part of the bag. And then I went ahead also and finished the row joints, and I have one remaining where I'll show you how to do it. So start by making a slip knot, then insert your hook, and starting from the chain stitch on this side or closest to this side, leave the one that is on this side. So pick that stitch, chain stitch, insert your hook, and then make a slip stitch. So yarn over, pull through the chain, then pull through the loop on your hook, go on the chain stitch of this other side and do the same. Then go through the first stitch, which is a treble, a slip stitch, do the same on this side, then continue doing that, working slip stitches on each stitch, both sides, until you reach here where we joined the columns. So when you reach the column join here, you're going to go in this chain space and work your slip stitch, then slip stitch in this other chain space, then chain 1, skip the join and go on this other side, start with the first chain space, and then go in this other chain space, then continue working in your stitches. So do that. So when you reach the other join, you do the same, you slip stitch in the chain spaces, and then you chain 1, skip the join, go in the chain spaces on this opposite side, then continue working your slip stitches along the stitches all the way to the end. When you reach the end, you're going to chain 1 and cut your yarn. Then when you're through, you're going to finish the other row stitches or row join, sorry, and then I'll meet you now when you're joining the sides. So for the side squares, you're going to pick 3 squares, then join them like I've done here. So you're going to join the first 2 squares and then pick the third square and join it to the second. And you're going to start with the chain stitches here along that row that you're going to join, and then finish on the last chain stitches. leaving one chain here and one chain here. So your stitches are going to be finished on the chain stitches. Then you're going to chain one and cut your yarn and make two of these, and then we're going to join it to our main bag. So to join it to the bag, you're going to pick your side squares and then align it to the side of the bag that you want to join, like this. So you're going to go with the slip stitches, the zigzag slip stitches from the top all the way to the third square. So we have 1, 2, 3. Join all those rows together, and then you're going to join the bottom side to the bottom of that fourth row square. So finish this side, and then I'll meet you when you're joining the bottom row. So when you're through with one side, you're going to turn and work on the bottom row. And to do that, you're going to finish with your chain spaces. So after you've worked your last stitches on both sides, you're going to go in the chain space and work your slip stitch. And then you're going to skip the seam on this bottom part and go straight to the opposite side chain space. So work a slip stitch in that chain space of the bottom square, and then come to this side square, repeat slip stitch in the chain space. Then you're going to go in the stitches and continue with your join. So when you reach the opposite side of the bottom row, you're going to finish with the chain spaces, then skip the seam on the bottom or the main bag part and go in the opposite square chain space, slip stitch in that chain, and come back and slip stitch in the very same chain space of this side bottom square. Then you're going to continue in your stitches. And for this opposite side, you're going to repeat the same pattern we did on this side. So repeat the same for this opposite side. And then when you're through, you're going to do the same for this other side. Finish your 3 squares and then seam it along the side, the bottom area, and the opposite side. And then when you're through, we'll work on the top part, the top area, and the handles together. So I went ahead and finished my one side, then came to this other side and finished also the side seams. And at the end, I did not chain one and cut the yarn because that's where I'm going to start working on the round at the top. So you're going to insert your hook. And then for this first round, we finished on the chain one spaces. So you're going to work a single crochet in the very same chain space. Work one single crochet in the next stitch and one single crochet in each stitch until you reach the next chain space. When you reach the first chain space, you're going to work a single crochet in that chain space, then jump to the next chain space of the next square, work one single crochet, then continue placing one single crochet in each stitch, working over this yarn tail. So that is going to be the repeat for this first round. Just work one single crochet in each stitch. When you reach the chain space, you work one single crochet in the first chain space, cross to the opposite or the next square, not the opposite, the next square, work one single crochet in that chain space, and work on each stitch, working over the tail all the way around until you reach the last square where we started with. So I've gone ahead and worked in each stitch all the way around. When you reach the end of that first round, you're going to work in that last chain space, then join it with a slip stitch to the first stitch on that round, then chain one and go in the same stitch and work a single crochet. So for this second round, until you have 5 rounds, you're going to work one single crochet in each single crochet stitch all the way to the end When you reach the last stitch here, you're going to slip stitch to this first stitch and then chain one, work single crochet in each stitch until you have a total of 5 rounds, or as long as you'd want this brim to be. Then we'll work on the handles. At the end of the 5th round, you're going to join it with a slip stitch to the very first stitch on that round. Then chain one and cut your yarn. So this is how it looks like at this point. This is the bottom and then the top area. So what you're going to do, you're going to mark where you're going to place the handles. So this one depends with your preference, but I prefer closer to the end of this last square. Remember, this is the side square, and then there's also the side square. So you have 3 for the front and 3 for the back. So I'm going to put it closer to the end of this one and then closer to the end of this one. So it's going to start from here. Then I'm going to have like 5 or 6 stitches. Then it's going to end here. So the 6 stitches will be towards the center of the bag. So do the same for the opposite side. And you want to place them close. You're going to line it like this and then mark the stitch that is closer to this one or opposite to this stitch. Make sure that you've lined the edges of the squares together. Then on this other side, you're going to do the same thing. So to make the handles, you're going to make a slip knot. Then insert your hook. Then on that stitch to the right, you're going to start with a standing single crochet. So insert your hook in that stitch with marker. You can remove the marker now. Then yarn over, pull through the stitch. You'll have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. Then you're going to single crochet in the next stitches. So this will depend with how wide you want the strap to be. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then add another one. So the thickness of my strap is going to be 7 stitches. Then chain 1, turn your work, yarn over, half double crochet in each stitch across. Chain 1, turn, half double in each stitch across. Chain 1, turn, half double in each stitch across. So you're going to work half double crochet in each stitch all the way until you achieve the desired length of the strap. I'll work mine and then I'll tell you the number of rows that I've done, and then we'll join it to this other side. Then repeat the same for the opposite side. So I've gone ahead and finished 70 rows of half double crochet stitches. Remember, we started with a row of single crochet, so that is not counted in the 70 rows of half double crochet. So at the end of the 70th row, I'm going to join it now to this other side. So bring your work, make sure that it is not twisted in any way, and then you're going to start with single crochets on the 7th stitch from the stitch that we marked. So this is the stitch that is marked, we'll count it as the first stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is where you're going to start joining the handle. So after your last stitch on the 70th row, you're going to chain 1, already chained 1, turn your work, insert your hook through both loops of that first stitch, and then go in the stitch that we just marked, the 7th stitch from the marker, and single crochet, and continue single crocheting in the next stitches. At this point, you can now remove your other marker. In one and cut your yarn. You can go ahead and weave in the end on this inner side of your bag. So do the same for the opposite side. I already did. They have both the handles, the front and the back. And then you can go ahead and weave in the ends inside of your work, or you can line it, and I'll leave a link on how to line bags so you can check that out, and then if you want to line it, you can go ahead and line it. So thank you so much for watching. That is the end of today's tutorial, and until we meet in the next one, please stay safe. God bless you, and please let me know what you think about this bag and other tutorials you'd like me to put up on here on the channel. So thank you so much, and bye.